We're living for the moment, now we're one with the world. I can't lose this feeling I get. My heart's in the right place, and so is my soul, yeah. I won't take no excuses for it. Love it, need it, live it. I feel like something's missing when I do not have it. I feel it in my bones, gotta find my space. These emotions on my face, taking a toll, I gotta pay it forward. I'll give it all that I can. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. Yeah, no what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. I won't, I will be there. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Lifting me, lifting you. Can't go alone, let's do by two. Doing this together, it's me by you. All through the night, all through the night. This is me, this is you. When we get together, we can all pull through. I don't ever wanna stop this groove. Let's get it right. Take it to the Lord, then take it to the grave. Listen to the wise man, tell me what he say. Listen to your heartbeat like it still bleed. A little bit of hope, yeah, it's what we still need. Say a little prayer for the moment. Give what you got, just go in. Can't hold you back if you own it. Live your life like a chosen. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. I will be there. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Know what I need, I know what I need. To find the keys, the keys.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixers cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the light, holding on for life. Holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get a few. Day to day you wanna stay out, you're chasing the light, holding on for life, feeling the high, chasing the light, chasing the night, chasing the night.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of the ICGT Sprint Championship Pro Split. My name is Ryan Gill. I'm going to be your broadcaster and lead commentator for tonight, and joining me for the second round of this Pro Series is Jesse Lee.
Yes, hello everybody out there, and hello to you as well, Ryan. Tonight, round number 2. They've had a week off, and here we are again for the next round. Round 2. Round 1 at Laguna Seca was incredible and gave us nail-biting action at every single turn. I don't think Spa-Francorchamps is going to be any different today. And of course, we have a third in the booth with us today, and that is none other than the Speedy Fishman himself, Mr. Random Call Sign.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second round of the RCI Intercontinental. I hope everyone is doing fine tonight. So, how are you doing, Jesse and Ryan?
I'm doing quite well, actually. I actually am really interested in seeing a spot of racing tonight, as some of the drivers are a little excited as well, getting involved in some fender benders here as practice winds down. It's going to be the same format as last week, but of course the track is the exact polar opposite. We were at the smallest, tightest track in ACC last week, and this week we get to go to the biggest one. It's a completely different mindset, but these guys have shown already that they are going to bring it. Darren King currently fastest in practice. Ryan, what do you make of the times that are currently being displayed?
Well, at the moment, setting in free practice low 217s. There's no surprises from the likes of our leader so far in practice, Darren King. We also have Joe Kvaka and Joe McCauley rounding out the top 3, all of those in the 217s as well. I don't think everyone's quite going to be running those low fuel stints just yet. It's practice. It's always best to run on some higher fuel loads, get a feel for the car as it will be towards the beginning of the race, or the middle of the race rather. But yeah, I'm expecting to see kind of a tightly packed fight for pole position, and of course, Spa, we've seen racing around here so many times before. We had a great race at Laguna Seca, which is not really a great track for overtaking or racing, so I'm hoping that with Spa on the cards tonight, we can see an even better race than we had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's very possible that is the case. But 2 weeks ago, though, our race was pretty darn interesting. I think the strategy sort of mixed up the field and actually did see quite a bit of passing, some of which that required the old push to pass button, if you know what I mean. But all things considered, I enjoyed the race at Laguna Seca, but honest to God, I was looking at the calendar and this was the one I circled because I'm not sure. If you look at Darren King up there and Kvaka in second place, 0.2 of a second, even Brambila back in third and Macaulay in fourth, that's not enough gap to pull on the straightaway. I think that's all in draft range. So if you can hold on around here, and if these times hold up through qualifying, I think we're in for something special this evening.
Yeah, definitely so. And obviously, before we get into proceedings here tonight, obviously we did have the first race at Laguna Seca 2 weeks ago. And just in case, anyone maybe needs a bit of a refresher, we can bring up the championship standings. And actually, in fact, as I say that, I've actually got the wrong standings on. So I'm not entirely sure what's happened here, but apparently we have the rookie standings. I'm not entirely sure why that's happened, so we'll quickly switch away from that, and I can read them off the list manually for you. So here we go. So Jaroslav Honzik was the winner last time out at Laguna Seca. He's rounded out 63 points for getting fastest lap, pole position, and the win last time out. Kilian Ryan Meenan sits second in the championship with 52 points. And then Ossi Takamaki in third in the Nissan GTR. He's sitting on 49 points. Darren King in fourth place. He's on 46. Jakub Charkot with 43 points in fifth. Then going down the rest of the field, Joe Macaulay, Tariq Gamil, who is absent tonight, by the way. Michael Muthen, Tinker van der Velde, and Samuel Ratz will round out the top 10. Some interesting names to note. Cormac Ryan Meenan in 12th. Harry Conway in 17th, Mikhail Sundstrom 24th, and even the likes of Bart Matcher down in 33rd and Billy Octane in 36th. So quite a few people out of position, and even João Cavaca, who is second at the moment in practice, well, he only finished 40th last time out in the first race of the season, so he's going to be hoping for a much better race at this time around.
Yeah, he sure is. And the thing that I take from that list, Ryan, that you read there is, I mean, look at all the really good drivers that are outside the top 10 in the championship. Absolutely ridiculous. And that just shows you how crazy of a race Laguna Seca actually turned out to be. And if you are going to have a bad race, it might as well be the first race of the series. Allow yourself to get into a groove after that and make up those points. I know the Ryan Meenan brothers are faster than that. I know everyone that you specifically said can do better and will do better here today. I think there's going to be a massive reshuffling of the points after this one.
I certainly hope so, and looking at the standings at the moment, they seem quite interesting. I know this is just free practice, but it's quite promising. João Cavaca seconds. He had a race to forget last week. I'm having high hopes for the Portuguese man.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic, isn't it? Do we know exactly where he finished 2 weeks ago? Maybe Ryan can look that up for us in a second.
He didn't finish the race, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so this would be great for him, because if he can come out here and he can hang with the likes of Darren King, that will be awesome. I do have to give Darren King a bit of shtick today. His livery is not destroying my eyeballs today, which is a typical thing that I've seen him do in the past. He actually has a really nice livery. I do like that color composition, but yeah, Zhao could in fact right the wrong. And of course, if you're going to have a terrible race for one race, you might as well have the best race for the next one. And have that all even out. But still, free practice winding down here. A few seconds left to go, and we will go into qualifying. A fairly quick qualifying session. You probably will have enough time to do 2 runs, and then the 1-hour sprint race for the win. I may have erroneously in the past mentioned that it was a point for position. That is incorrect. It's a few points per position to help space them out. But either way, it is going to be a day of comers and goers and movers in the standings. I can't wait, and I can't predict this. I would not have predicted Brambila and Kavaka out front, or excuse me, in the top 3. So sort of out front here today in practice. But like they say, it's just practice, right?
It's just practice. Very likely they're hiding their guns for the qualify. It's fairly common to see fast drivers pushing 216s, low 216s at Spa, of course, all depending on the conditions, the track conditions. At the moment, only Darren King is hitting the 216s. You do have quite a few on the 217s, but when the qualify proper starts, I think we're going to see far more people on the 216s, and the standings will shuffle quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like that's a valid point, Random, honestly. I think that you're going to see at times drop a little bit. I don't know exactly what Darren King's pace is around here. It's one of the few tracks that I've never truly observed him at, but I think he can do a little bit better than that. As Brambila there at the end goes to second. Going to have a bit of a cool down here, 3 minutes and some change. And then we're going to go racing for the pole of the race. And quite frankly, since it's so tight at the front, your guess is as good as mine, Ryan.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly close to see who, realistically is going to take pole position here. Darren King obviously putting in some absolutely unbelievable laps, and as you can see the slight chat on the side there, everyone wishing each other good luck, and a couple of people saying that Darren King is OP and he's the GOAT and he's got this in the bag, but maybe it's not going to be that way. I don't think it's as easy as some people probably think it is. And actually, as we can see, all the cars now rushing out into the fast lane of the pit lane. Everyone wants to get out here as soon as possible, because this is a bigger track than Laguna Seca. But of course, we do have almost 50 cars here tonight, so the track is going to be packed.
Yes, and that ever-present fear of traffic doesn't just come into play in the race. It is a problem here in qualifying. To run that fast lap, you have to have a clean racetrack in front of you. Tire grip and temperature, not going to be a problem today. Winds out of the east about 5 kilometers, 22 degrees C. The track temperature. Track is perfect for racing, but you have to get space out in front or behind somebody, and I've always thought it was funny, and I am a bit guilty of this as well, rushing out of pit row as soon as you can to get that quali lap in, and then being stuck in a pack of cars and having to stop or slow down to get that gap. Samuel Ratz is not going to be one of those, or at least for his opening outlap, he's not going to be part of that. He'll have it clean. Hopefully nobody jumps in front of him. That is also one of the most frustrating things in qualifying, is you do all this work to have a clean road in front of you and behind you so you can go out and do a good lap. And then what happens when you take the green flag for your first time lap? Another car comes out of pit row right in front of you and ruins it. And that is a shame, and it's a pain in the butt, but it does happen. But this is all a chess match. It's a chess match at 150 kilometers an hour, and like I say, I'm only smart enough to play checkers, but I assume Darren King's going to take the pole here, but let's theorize that somebody takes it to him here today. Can they do that, Ryan, or Random? Can they do that just merely getting a draft tug off of somebody else?
Yes, this track, contrasting to Laguna Seca, this track is twice the length. So in terms of, first of all, in terms of traffic, it will be easier to avoid traffic. There's only a couple of corners that are tricky to have traffic in. All the other ones you can either set aside if you are not too fast. You can set aside your car, or you can just go around the other car. Now, Camel Straight is a great place to get a fantastic draft and save yourself a couple of cents. That might prove useful even if you are overtaking a car that just came out of the pits. That slight draft might be enough to put yourself in pole position.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree there. The tow you can get along some of the parts of the track. I mean, the Camel Straight, and of course, coming out of campus as well and through on towards Blanchimont, you can get a really good run. So I'm gonna have to agree. I mean, in terms of who I think can take it to Darren King, well, there's the obvious picks like Jardier. You know, he's definitely gonna be up there. But I think, you know, there are gonna be some other people looking strong as well today. Ossi Takamaki pulled out an absolutely fantastic result last week to get the Nissan on the podium. So I don't think his form can be ignored either.
I'm going to pick two drivers for this race. A black horse, which would be João Cavaca. And I'm going to also pick a Samuel Ratz for this race.
Wow, you didn't even allow him to get a qualifying lap in, Ricardo, and you're already picking favorites?
Yes.
Well, that's how he does it, folks. He's just going to come in, he's gonna put his cards on the table, and he'll probably ask after the dust settles, how'd I do? But
I like it. I like that mentality. The you know, he's got nothing to hide, no tricks up his sleeve, just straightforward. It's exactly what he's expecting from tonight. I like that mentality.
Well, I think in that case, I think I'm going to take Billy Octane here today, because why wouldn't I take Billy Octane here today?
The best name in sim racing.
It is just the best name.
Yeah, and
Isaac West also on the chat is, I want to see Billy Octane with the Bentley do well. So there's at least two people on the chat that agree. It's good.
Well, Ryan, I can't help but notice that both Random and I joined the boat. You agreed that you enjoyed that, but then decided to abstain and not actually pick a car. That's okay. You go ahead and you be like that. But Samuel Ratz sets the quickest lap so far. It's going to be a 17.4. We know that's about half a second off the pace there of what we imagine. And there we go, Van der Velde at a 16.8, the fastest lap we've seen today. That goes all the way to the top. And Tinko van der Velde with that livery looks like 1990s blue up.
You know, I'll quickly slide this in here whilst I have the chance. If Tinko van der Velde goes on and wins this race, I just want to quickly mention out that I raced him about 6-7 months ago in an AM championship, and actually beat him around here after following for about half an hour. So, you know, if he wins here today, I'll be very happy for him, because very much like Billy Octane and Harry Conway, Killian Ryan, and he's one of these guys that I've raced for a while now, and I have a good relationship with. So, you know, if he does well today, I'll be very happy, and it'll also boost my self-esteem a bit as well to know that I've beaten him.
That's absolutely right, Ryan. I remember that. I was there for that. That was a nail-biting race. That was so fun to watch. It's one of those I would hate to be a part of, but I was happy to be there and be able to watch that and cheer you on for that one, because that was a hell of a race, and that was a well-ran race by the two of you. So that I had almost forgotten about that one, but my goodness, what an event. It literally set in his tire marks for nearly an hour behind him, and just such a fantastic move and race. Must be said, here in practice, Jardier was not doing where I thought he could be. He was inside the top 10, but just a bit barely. And I expected him to be further up the grid, even not fully going full speed. But he has responded here. Darren King sets the second fastest lap of the race. Not his fastest lap of the day, however. Jardier does set his fastest lap of the race. It's good enough for third. Samuel Ratz back in fourth. And Essa back in fifth place. And here comes Osi Takamaki, who was a star at Laguna Seca. He's going to come across the line, and that's going to be 7th, immediately pushed down to 8th as the times come in fast and hard. So everyone's going to do a lap here, I imagine, guys, and then they're going to go in and make an adjustment if they have to. Most likely just put on new tires.
Darren is going to put a good lap. Let's see, he's taking 0.6 of a second. Cross the line, and Darren King takes the provisional pole. 2:16.6.
Yeah, and he's actually got Zahir Essa only 33 thousandths of a second behind him as well. So our theory for it could be close coming towards pole position is definitely not wrong. But look how far it stretches down the grid though. Top 26 covered by 2 seconds. Top 27 even.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, guys. We're talking about Darren King at a 16.65 to Essa's 16.69. That is literally nothing in it there. That is literally getting a wind gust on the back straightaway around here or something. That is not anything at all. And, you know, not to sell Vandervelde short, 16.8 for him. That's also not anything at all. And Brambila now slots into the 4th position. But watch out for João Cavaca. He is in 6th place. He's digging with 3/10 in the bank. We're watching him here rounding the, what is that? Not exactly sure. Yes, the final few corners. He's going to come up to the chicane. Sorry, my timing and scoring was in the way there for a second. Couldn't see exactly where he was. But yeah, he is still in the green, moving up several tenths. And folks, tenths matter around here. At the current pace, he'll at least move up into the top 5.
It did lose all the time that it was gaining. He has to basically do that time back in a chicane or just go for another time around. He had a partial for very low 217s, probably even 216s. He's taking 0.2 of a second, very likely with the toe. Actually, I was not seeing that correctly. He took 0.1 of a second, and he did a 217.2, and now he's in 5th in front of Jardier. But I think he can do better.
That was pretty awesome for him. I thought that he was about 5th place on that, and he did lose all that time on the coming onto the straightaway. He gained it all back, however, in the final chicane. So that's going to slot him into the top 5. Not bad for the Portuguese driver. Fantastic stuff out of him. Darren King again still sits top of the session, and Essa continues to hold 2nd place here. Jardier in 6th place. I don't know about that. I suspected he should be in the 16s somewhere, but then again, there is still time if they want to run another lap, and certainly he will do. He's actually on an outlap right now, my board indicates. We're watching Samuel Ratz back in 9th place. The reason we're watching Samuel Ratz is because Ryan has noticed the same thing I've noticed. He is up 3/10, and he is coming, actually gaining 4/10, 5/10 into the chicane. This might be good enough for 3rd place. Samuel Ratz comes to the line, and what does he get? He gets 5th place. He lost a little bit of time coming out of the chicane, but it's good for a 17.02, and immediately goes back into the green again as he is going to keep digging here. Actually lost his time that he had made through the first turn. But incredibly close here, Ryan.
Yeah, it is. You can just see looking down the leaderboard, 1 second covers pretty much the top 13, and of course if you go even further down than that, the top 28, I believe it is, covered by 2 seconds. Everyone here lapping, slowest lap at the moment is a 2:20. That'll probably go down to a low 2:19 soon. But yeah, people definitely lapping quickly around here at the moment, but as you can see, it is still Darren King at the top of the leaderboard. Jardier in 7th, struggling a bit, 6/10 off the pace, but of course we know with Jardier, he comes alive in the race. The qualifying is only half the work. Killian Ryan Meenan in 10th, he's almost a second off the pace. Sundström 16th, Harry Conway down in 21st. And in fact, Joe McCauley, who was really high up towards the tail end of practice, finds himself down in 23rd place. So it just goes to show you how practice does not mean everything.
Ryan, to your point about Jardier racing really well, first of all, can attest that is absolutely the case. He also qualifies fairly well too, but we've certainly seen him, to your point, race incredibly well. He'll set a lap that maybe is a little bit off, maybe, you know, the Darren Kings of the world, but that doesn't matter because when they get into the race, he's a whole different animal, Jardier is, and I think that's fantastic. So now that you've mentioned that, let me just say, I want Jardier to qualify not on pole because I get to watch him pass cars, and there's nothing more exciting, folks, than watching a hungry race car driver who loves to race get out there and pass cars. And if there's ever a track that lends itself to passing, it is this course. Samuel Ratz, it must be said, is coming to the line. He is up several tenths. He is actually going to go all the way to third, as I predicted earlier he could do. It's going to be a 16.74 for Samuel Ratz. Good enough for third. Knocks Vandervelde down to fourth.
From the first.
Yes, indeed. As we here's Vandervelde, who's also up on his time. Random. This is hotly contested at the moment. Holy cow.
Yeah, and Darren King, I think, is going to take 2/10 out of his time. He is going through the line, and he did take 2/10 out of his time. 2:16.5 sharp. He is on a hot streak.
Darren King definitely showing that he's got the pace around here at Spa. He is the man to beat, but I tell you what, Dominic Cortum's not going to do too bad. He's going to jump up from 15th to 8th in the Nissan. He's going to be the highest up of the Nissans, and in fact all the Nissans competing in the ICGT series are here on display tonight, all 4 of them. Dominic Cortum, I think as well, Anthony Foch, Ossi Takamaki and Lubomir Zeman, and there are no Nissans.
Zahir goes through the line. I'm sorry, I think he took 2/10 of a second off. No, he didn't. He was 2/10 of a second down, but I think he missed the chicane.
No,
I'm sorry about that.
No,
Zahir was almost getting the pole.
No, Random, what I think happened there, because his lap time was faster, I think he invalidated his lap.
That is correct, Jesse. He did invalidate his lap because his lap would have been enough to put him 78 thousandths of a second behind Darren King, and obviously he isn't 78 thousandths behind. He is actually 192 thousandths, or pretty much 2/10 of a second. But Tinker Vandervelde coming up towards the bus stop chicane now. He was 3/10 up. He's lost a bit of that pace, but as he comes into the chicane, he gains a load of time. He's 4/10 up. He's going to lose some of it as he comes towards the line, but he's definitely got the pace to go second, and he does.
Absolutely incredible stuff from Tinko Vandervelde. He's going to get second place at a 16.62. Nobody touching Darren King at the moment, but we do have a few cars left as qualifying has expired. All flying laps count. Obviously, Jardier's up a 10th on his time, and we're watching Zeman, who's coming across to take the checkered flag as well. So many positions, starting positions, changing hands here at the final possible second. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I gotta say, Martin Lawrence is actually 6/10 up on his time. He's down in 11th, but
Jardier is taking 3/10 now.
Jardier is also moving up as well. I'm trying to find where Lawrence went. Lawrence came 6th. Cortum's gonna go to 8th. Jardier stuck in 7th. There's so many numbers flashing on the dashboard. It might as well be Doc Brown's DeLorean. And qualifying almost done here. I think Essa is actually on a lap right now, and he's up a 10th right now as he's going to come to the line. Could this slot him back into second place? He has enough. He has the legs. Can he do it?
And he's going to go equal with Vandervelde on time. Both of them 123 thousandths of a second behind Darren King, but the rules of racing dictate if you have an equal lap time, the first person to set that time will gain higher priority in the standings. So Vandervelde will stay second despite Essa setting an equal lap time.
I don't know what to think. That was qualifying, and I'm already out of breath. Guys, look at the timing and scoring. Darren King is going to be your pole sitter over Vander Velde. Essa in third place. Samuel Ratz, Brambila fifth. Lawrence sixth. Hanzik in seventh. Cordom eighth. Foch in ninth, and Kavaka in 10th. And if you notice, folks, about that top 10, they're all within 3/4 of a second of each other, which means to me that they're probably going to have to get physical out there to pass each other at some point. And, you know, a little bit of body contact didn't hurt anybody. I joke, of course, but it's going to be a fantastic race, I think, because look at the top 20. They're all within 1.3 seconds of one another. That is exactly what we're looking for. Dead tie for second place. Darren King, he's going to have to work a little harder today than maybe he even thought he was going to have to, guys.
Yeah, and just to quickly voice on that, Jesse, the top 30 covered by 2 seconds.
Holy crap. That is a lot. Folks, I can't qualify within 3 seconds of these guys, and these guys are out here getting it done. That is incredible stuff. It's going to be an interesting race for sure. A couple things about the race, of course. We do have live stewarding in the ICGT Pro Split, so the likelihood of penalties, we will have them, and we will read them to you to help you understand them and help us understand them as well. Thank you to our live stewards and everybody that helps makes races here at RCI go smoothly. The 5-minute timer has started. It's going to be 9 a.m. the start of the race, 1 hour to play, and you have to make a mandatory pit stop. I do not believe you have to make a tire stop. You have to add some amount of fuel. That amount of fuel, I believe, is also up to you. Is that not right, Ryan?
Yes, you have a mandatory pit stop, but there are, of course, no defined rules for that pit stop. You can take tyres, you can take any amount of fuel that you wish. It is completely down to the individual driver, so it leaves strategy open. And, well, considering how we've seen these races go in the past, the most logical approach is, of course, to take 1 litre of fuel, and, of course, to leave it as late as possible, or maybe at least within the last 15 minutes of the race. But, of course, here at Spa, it might be a bit different, considering that traffic may not be as big as a problem as it was in Laguna Seca 2 weeks ago.
Or you could do like Jardia did last week, have the cars just slightly damaged and repair the damage, and it would be faster than just put 1 liter in your car. That's what happened at Laguna when he went to pit. That's why he came out of the pits in first, because he saved, I think, 3 or 4 seconds just by repairing his car instead of fueling up.
Yeah, and that could have been the all-important thing, is getting the repairs on there, because, again, there was contact earlier, and he certainly was losing time to the leader at that time, and that is just the kind of thing we're talking about. Anything is possible here. So hopefully lessons learned 2 weeks ago in the series opener. Race number 2 here at Spa, ready to go imminently. 3 minutes on the clock, and with so many cars in the race, you just hope that it will be a clean and green start to the race. Of course, probably the most treacherous set of corners to start a race in any racetrack that we go to. I can't think of a more treacherous start for having a hairpin and then Eau Rouge and Blochemont. So I'm actually interested to see how, if they're able to make it through there. Obviously, Darren King controls it, and he will likely hope to get a clean start. You don't want to be going 2x2 up Eau Rouge, do you? That's a recipe for disaster. Certainly, we've seen track blockages at the top on the Kimmel Straight. What's the most important thing here, guys, if you're starting in the mid-pack? How do you avoid being part of a early incident?
It's very difficult. It does not depend on you most of the time, especially going up on Eau Rouge. Drivers are always super eager to have a good position when they go up the hill at Eau Rouge. So they'll fight for the best line, but it becomes quite difficult, as Eau Rouge in the beginning, it's tricky. Your tires are not up to temperature. The track, depending on how it's configured on the server, it could be set to fast or green, probably not in the best condition. So it's very, and as the line, the perfect line over there is not very wide, it's very difficult not to have a contact when you're going at high speed. The cars will naturally drift to the left side, and if you want to keep the line, there's going to be contact.
Yeah, a lot of the racing around here does entirely depend on the people around you, and especially here on the start as you go towards Eau Rouge and over Radion, you know it a lot of the time it can just be luck of the draw whether you get caught up in an incident or not. Of course, there are things you can do to avoid getting caught up in someone else's incident, but, you know, mainly it's just the best place to be is at the front, where you're least likely to have someone have an accident in front of you. But with just under 40 seconds until the formation lap gets underway, it is time for me to ask Mr. Jesse Lee who his prediction for the race win is going to be today.
Well, Ryan, if you ask me my prediction for the race win today, I'm going to throw a wild card in there. I'm going to say that I feel like Essa's going to win this over Darren King today. I just can't bet against that number 71 Porsche, and I think Essa is going to end up in victory lane today because he is so close already, and Darren King has all the pressure.
Well, interesting to get your perspective. I mean, George will definitely be happy when he comes to rewatch this race. Of course, George Smith being one of our South African commentators who is currently covering the AM split over on RCI_racing on Twitch. So if you want to go watch the AM race, you can go do that on Twitch. But if you want to stick around here for the pros, stay right here on RCI TV. But now I'm going to throw it over to Random Call Sign. Who is going to be your prediction for the win today?
Very difficult. Darren King does seem to have excellent pace. The Ferrari is very good on tires. The Audi has great pace, but it becomes quite difficult going uphill. I've been through that at one of your previous championships when he had the other name. It's quite tricky to keep it straight 1 hour. I'm going to give it to Darren or Samuel Ratz.
Well, that's interesting picks there. Of course, being a Lamborghini fan, obviously I would always, lean towards the likes of Samuel Ratz, but in this situation, I will not lean on my biased feelings for the Lamborghini. I'm going to go for my good mate, Tinko van der Velde. I think he's done a phenomenal job to get that Audi on the front row. And in fact, if you look down the grid, he's the only Audi in the top 20. And that definitely says something about how he's performed here today. And I think he's going to have a good chance for a win here today. I think he's definitely going to push it towards Darren King. So I'm going to go for my good mate, Tinko van der Velde. But let us know in the chat who you guys are cheering for. You can see someone cheering for... Yeah, for
Zonkovac seems to be a favourite.
And Tinko van der Velde, someone cheering for him as well. So I'm not the only one here tonight. But yeah, do let us know who all of you guys are cheering for, who you want to see win tonight. And yeah, it's always nice to see what other people think and who they're cheering for.
Yes, that is indeed. And of course, thank you guys, every single one of you, for being with us here today, spending your Friday evening with RCI, the ICGT Championship Round 2 Pro Split here at Spa-Francorchamps. Going to have 1 hour of action. That's going to be shortly after 9 a.m., the start of the race. 14 degrees C is going to be your track temperature. Be advised, the air temp has been rising. It was 13 on the grid. It's now 14. Winds are now out of the south at 5 kilometers. Track, again, still optimum. Going to be racing through the morning here, and we're glad that you are all with us as the cars continue their incredibly long, the longest pace lap in all of ACC. They will eventually form up 2 by 2, all single file now, getting some warmth in the tires, weaving back and forth. That saves a little bit of temperature when you do that, whenever you scrub them in like that, and that could be all important, especially with the first couple of corners we've got here.
Yep, and of course, remember we do have more racing coming up for everyone later on in the month. We have a multi-class championship starting towards the end of the month, so get yourself signed up for that on the Discord. We also have a GT4 championship starting on Monday. That's going to be right here on RCI TV. We also have a Rex Cup race happening next Thursday. And, of course, this weekend, actually, this Saturday, we have a GT4 Bathurst event as well here on RCI TV. So do make sure to stick around, RCI. And, of course, our big 6-hour event is coming up very, very soon. Pre-qualifying happens this weekend. Qualifying and Superpole next weekend. The race on the 1st of August. But as they line up in 2 by 2, 1 corner to go before lights out here for the second round of the ICGT Sprint Championship at Spa.
Super tense, the beginning. I can feel it.
Yes, they will be feeling it. Your nerves are at their worst right now. You are looking in the mirror, you're looking out the windshield, you're thinking to yourself, do not screw this up. Wait for the lights, look for the flag, get it right the first time. Otherwise, you could be going to downtown Painville, and that is not a place you want to be here today. Look at all of these cars coming down the straightaway. Of course, we use the GT straight for this race. Here we are. Look at all of them, 2 by 2 by 2, as far as the eye can see here at Spa-Francorchamps, waiting for the green flag. The green flag has been dropped, and Van der Velde has got the jump into turn 1, and he's going to get him up the hill, and he's going to lead into the Kimmel Straight. He's going to be under immense pressure from Darren King. Now, Darren King will immediately want to take that position back. The only Audi in the top 20, like Ryan said, took the lead there, but here comes Darren King back down the inside. That will become the outside. No, excuse me, that will become the inside. I am corrected, and he will take the lead back over. An excellent start from Van der Velde there, but it does not stop Darren King.
Super clean start, at least from what I can see. No touches at Eau Rouge, no touches in the Kimmel Straight, and no touching up until Bruxelles, until I can see. So super clean start. Great to see that Darren King was able to fetch the first position from Tinko van der Velde. Nice move there.
Yeah, definitely one of the cleanest starts I've ever seen, especially with this quantity of cars. Just to confirm, we have a grand total of 36 cars tonight. We had quite a few sign-outs for today, but yeah, definitely incredible to see how clean those opening few sections of corners have been and how good the first lap has been. Darren King retaking the lead from Tinko van der Velde. And now we look at Jardier, who is chasing down the Mercedes of Martin Lawrence. Jardier in 7th at the moment, and he's got Dominic Curtin in the pink Nissan right behind him.
I think that's a valid point, Ryan. I completely looked over the fact that that was fairly clean. I didn't see any major incidents down the field. I also liked how you slid that in there, that we had quite a few sign-outs, and there's still 36 cars on track. Just to let you know how massive the list of drivers is for this series. We can have quite a few sign-outs and still have 36 runners. This is the pack to worry about. This is for about 20th on back. A bunch of cars, mainly Porsches, it must be said, and there's an accident there. Several cars go around in the chicane, and it's an absolute roadblock coming through the final chicane. And there's so many cars, I can't even possibly, I know the 71 got spun around there. So many other cars, including Comp there. We're going to see a replay here provided by Ryan Gill. Going to see exactly what happened here. I was alerting that there may be a bit of a kerfuffle here, and there certainly was. Thinking about going 3 wide, never a good idea. A couple of cars bouncing off of each other sends the purple Porsche around, and then somebody sends another Porsche and a Bentley around, and that completely blocks the track. Everybody scatters, and that was terrible for several of the guys. And now damage mode here early. Come in, get that mandatory stop over with, and try to pick up the pieces of the race.
We also seen 4 cars going on a pits. I'm not sure for a stop and go 10 seconds or something like that. Valentin Barrier is coming out of the pits. But we have Mark Haynes, Mattis Kopf, Lubomir Zeman, and Joseph Varga on the pits. Joseph is coming out now, as well as Lubomir. Mattis is still on the pits, and Mark Haynes is going out. So all of them are still on the pits. Probably Mattis has some other type of issue. I'm not sure if he had some damage because of all of that commotion.
Yeah, I would like to correct something I said earlier. I said the 71 was involved in that accident. That's Zaire Essa. He was not involved in that. He's in 5th place. What I saw was the number 7 car that was indeed involved in that accident. I don't know where I got that extra 1 from on the door of that car, but nevertheless, that was the number 7 car, not the number 71. Essa is still running in 5th place, currently fighting. Everybody.
Samuel Ratz now at Blanchimont. Before the chicane, he's trying to overtake Tinko van der Veld. Tinko van der Veld was able to keep his position.
Battles happening all over the track with Jardier Hanzik, who is in the middle of a pack of cars. And again, this is something we say every week, I feel, that if you start fighting somebody in front and you're unsuccessful or they challenge you a bit hard, then the driver behind you is going to have a shot on you. So if you don't do it cleanly, if you don't do it sharpish, you will yourself be overtaken. Jardier knows exactly how that goes.
Oh, and there's a spin!
Yes, it's going to be the Mercedes. That's going to be Brambila. I'm pretty sure Brambila just loses it, I'm pretty sure, up the hill and has gone around, or at least I think that was Brambila. We'll find out.
It seems to be Brambila.
It is Brambila. He is absolutely going to be fuming about that mistake. Major damage on his Mercedes as he tumbles through the order. That's going to take him well out of the top 20. That number 27 Mercedes is going to be in need of immediate repairs, I'd say, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. When you have damage like that, the first thing you're thinking of is I need to get back to the pit lane. The problem is for Brambilla is that he had an accident at probably one of the worst parts of the track where people are going past you at such a high pace and you've got so long to get back around to the pit lane. Of course, the longest lap on the calendar around here at Spa. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a shame for Brambilla, and I would assume that that is going to be any chance of a good result for him out the window here tonight. We're still looking at Jardier, and not because it's Jardier, but because he's surrounded by cars at the moment. He's got Martin Lawrence in front of him, Dominic Curtin and Christian Veal behind him, and that Nissan is getting closer and closer every time they come onto this back section out of campus.
I don't see any damage on Brambilla. It could be on my hands, but he is definitely losing on every single straight. So he must have severe damage on his aero package.
Yeah, I would assume so. We saw him clout into several walls, and folks, that is a hopeless feeling whenever you are crashing and then you hit that wall in that way when the Kemmel Straight starts. And it's just like you're along for the ride. It's a roller coaster nobody wants to ride, and you're just hoping that you don't come back into traffic. You're hoping that you're able to stop. But that's an incredibly tall task, too, because you're in the grass at that point, and grass equals no grip. So that's exactly the worst-case scenario. Luckily, I think everybody made it through there without a problem. So that ended up working out quite well. You know what else has worked out quite well? Samuel Ratz, the second place. He's 1.6 back. He's lost a tenth or two in the time we're talking about the incident. No, for me, he is second right now. He actually did get around Van der Velde for me, unless my timing and scoring is broke.
My timing is not correct. Or is it? No, he is correct. He's second position. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, see, here's the thing about the booth, ladies and gentlemen, a little peek behind the curtain. Every time we make a statement like that and somebody else's data is different, we have to reshuffle the papers because you never quite know that tricky timing and scoring. Sometimes it doesn't like to play ball. But indeed, Samuel Ratz did, in fact, make that pass on Van der Velde We didn't see it at the time. We did hear random call sign earlier. He did say that they were fighting, and looks like Samuel Rats came out on top of that. Vandervelde a half a second behind Rats at the moment, and Essa just holding on, or just hanging out, I should say, in fourth place. He's nobody really around him, and you got Lawrence, of course, in fifth, doing the same. Jardier has made a pass for sixth position. Up to sixth is Jardier. Jardier is now behind the 171 Mercedes of Lawrence. Lawrence is being pressured now. We've seen this happen before. I believe I've seen in recent memory Lawrence be pressured by Jardier, and I believe Jardier came out on top of that. Let's see if Lawrence has learned something from his battles with him and maybe takes the line away, maybe has enough speed. As we go back to second place, this battle has reignited. This is Lamborghini versus Audi, or should I say same make. It's basically the same factory, just a different body shell. And here we go, side by side for second place. Vandervelde
needs to go all the way around. Samuel Rats is packing him up. He keeps there on the inside, and he has actually a decent line. But Tinko Vandervelde will now try to inch forward. He got the better exit up to Eau Rouge.
Oh, you don't want to do this, boys.
On Eau Rouge. Rats is able to keep it. I think Vandervelde chickened it out. He didn't want to have an accident there. But Essa is now going for the overtake. Side by side at Camel. He's now inching forward. He is basically one car ahead. And Essa is able to go for third. But Vandervelde gets the outside of Puan. I'm sorry, Lecom. Keeps it on inside now. Side by side, still down the line. Up to Brussels. Can Vandervelde keep it? And he kept the third position. Got it back from Essa. Great racecraft from all of these guys. And we have the pack of 5 cars start from Lorang up until Cavaca. They're just in.
Yeah, Tinko Vandervelde showing an incredible amount of skill there to stay alongside with Zahir Essa. Essa making a slight mistake coming into Les Combes, but massive credit to Samuel Rats as well for keeping that car pinned through Eau Rouge and over Radion as well. So incredible skill on display, but of course that does mean Tinko Vandervelde is now in third place, and he's lost a significant amount of time to Samuel Rats, who is now going to try and focus on catching Darren King now that he doesn't have the Audi of Vandervelde down his exhaust.
Hey guys, remember about a lap ago when I mentioned that Essa and Lawrence and Rats, they all had about a 1.5 second difference between each other? And also remember whenever there was that little battle between Rats and Vandervelde, and they all came together and had a big fight? That is the thing I'm talking about around here. If you get fighting someone in this race, you're going to bring everybody back up to you. A second is nothing around here, especially on a straightaway. And that's exactly what we saw there. Vandervelde fell into the clutches of Essa there, and it created a little battle. And now that they're not battling, it's likely the gap's going to go back out. But that's the thing to watch for the final 50 minutes of this race. Pay attention to that, because that's going to play a role in this race. Darren King, though, 3 seconds out in front of Samuel Rats. He is absolutely gone. But Rats still, Rats has actually got about 2 seconds on Vandervelde now, so he's actually cleared him a bit. Vandervelde can still see Essa behind him, and Lawrence can still see behind them. Jardier is being incredibly patient, it must be said, in 6th position, not forcing the issue on Lawrence at this moment. He's been back there a few times, but not exactly sure. Oh, yes, look here, Christian Wheel. Christian Wheel has made his way up to 7th place. That will not be what Jardier wants to hear, I'm pretty sure. But that is the way that the facts are. And as this race settles in, you start to see those cars come and go. And one other thing we haven't touched on yet, certain cars have certain strengths. So if you are in a Mercedes, for instance, you're likely going to pull away from a Ferrari on the straightaway, but you might be caught up in the corners. And I think that's an important distinction, because it depends on where you catch them and how you catch them if you can make that pass, guys.
Absolutely, but still the Mercedes is 5th position, and he is getting to the Porsche, which has good strengths on cornering and actually in straights as well. He's keeping up and inching towards SM. Lorenk is on the last lap because of the battle. They were able to get around 1 second to 1.5 seconds, but now Lorenk is looking forward and seeing just Essa, her arms reach away, but not quite enough. And he also has to flee from Jaroslav. This is going to be extremely important the next couple of laps, as we'll have to see if Essa is able to struggle or not struggle with the pressure coming from behind.
Well, one thing's for sure, you never want to have pressure from behind, but sometimes it's inevitable, and you have to know how to defend. And it's going to be Pedrozzini, who was, I don't know exactly where he was. He was in 15th at the time. He's going to fall all the way back down to 18th, perhaps 19th. That was not a great maneuver there, and ends up backwards into the hairpin. And that has completely ruined his progress for the day. As we go back to Jardier up front, however, Jardier under immense pressure now from Christian Wheel. Christian Wheel, known to be a thorn in Jardier's side from time to time. That's why I mentioned that earlier. These excellent camera angles from Ryan, of course, showing you what the driver's compartment looks like and what they're seeing out the windshield or windscreen, depending on where you are from in the world. But this is going to be fantastic to watch. See if Christian Wheel, it looks like Jardier's stuck behind Lawrence a little bit, to be honest here. And like
he goes a bit sideways there. He's able to save it.
I'm starting to see why he's stuck behind him a bit. I think that Mercedes is Tokyo drifting around some of these corners. He's pushing that car, that Mercedes, for everything he's got.
You can go sideways and maintain your position. There's nothing in the rules stopping you.
Great showing right here from Jaroslav Honzik and Christian Wheel at the moment. Christian Wheel, of course, very well known for being a Porsche enthusiast, and wow, he is right on the back of Jardier right now. And in fact, as we come up towards Blanchimon, he might actually have a look up the inside.
Oh my God!
But they're not going to have enough
for
room.
one.
And Christian Wheel, he's going to look towards the bus stop now. Does he have the pace? Does he have the speed? Is he going to be later on the brakes? No, he thinks better of it. He's going to tuck back in behind Jardier. But Christian Wheel showing he has the pace, and he's showing that he does not want to stay behind Jardier for any longer than necessary.
Dominic Kortum is having excellent pace with that Nissan. He is able also to keep his tires at least more or less intact. So this is going to be a thorn on Christian's wheel as well. So we have ourselves a very interesting train of cars over here.
Yeah, this whole thing, man. This is what I come here for. This is why I commentate. This is why I love racing, sim racing in general, is because this kind of thing happens. It doesn't matter who wins the race as long as there's good battles, in my opinion. And good Lord, we are getting treated to that. I thought for a second there that Christian Wheel was going to send Jardier to the Shadow Realm. Did not happen. Of course, they're all very sporting drivers, of course. I kid. But the battle does indeed continue for 5th place for Jardier. This is really important because for championship points, of course, Darren King also as well up front. Everybody fighting for points, everybody fighting for every single position, and of course that ever-present racing driver mentality of, well, there's somebody in front of me I could pass. I'd quite like to do that. Battle.
I would love to see João Cavaco overtake Dominic. Come on, man. You're there. You're pushing all you can. Just a little more. You got the Nissan just in front of you. Do something, except crashing, of course.
Just a quick update for everyone. You might be wondering to yourself that we're 18 minutes into the race and we still haven't had anything from the live stewards. Well, I can tell you that there are a couple of incidents being looked into. The live stewards unfortunately have just been delayed for a few technical issues, but they have told us that they will get any penalty reports through to us as quick as possible. So do not worry, the incident that we saw at the end of the first lap, the bus stop chicane, it is being looked into, and it might just be another couple of minutes until we see the results of that investigation. But back to the action on track. João Kabaka in 9th place, chasing down Kortum in the Nissan. It's important to note, Kortum doing well in the Nissan. In fact, all the Nissans doing fairly well, or at least all the ones I can see on the board at the moment. 8th, 10th and 11th is a good showing from the GTRs.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And just to touch on the stewards thing, just 1 second. Both Ryan and I both walked over the stewards boxes right next to ours. We walked over there and looked like a tornado of papers and cursing going on in that box right there. They were dealing with some issues. I decided not to actually say anything. I just closed the door and came back to my box. But yeah, the Nissans, I love the Nissans. The Nissans are fantastic cars. It's unfortunate that they're outdated and there's no current BOP, but a lot of these drivers don't seem to care too much about that. They come out here and they put on a show for us. Of course, look at the great display from them. Got several inside the top 12 at the moment. Kortum doing an incredible job in the 695 Nissan in 8th place. He's, of course, sort of involved in this battle we're currently watching here at the moment. These guys right here, this is what I love and hate about good tactical drivers. None of these drivers has fully scented on each other, and that is both good and bad. This is a chess match at high speed you're watching between Lawrence Hanvik and Wheel at the moment. Nobody willing to make the ultimate mistake. Certainly we've seen a few drivers today already make mistakes and have decisions forced upon them, and we all know what happens there. You go all the way back to about 20th place. Basically what these guys are saying by not forcing the issue early is, I'm going to see what happens after I do my pit stop, which, by the way, all of the top 23 have to do that. But look at Christian Wheel. He's going to be forced to the outside. He's going to move to the inside, and he hits the brakes in time, and nothing happens. But still, filling every mirror of Jardier with a bit of his Gulf-liveried Porsche, letting him know, I have the speed, I have the power, and I will pass you.
In the few laps, we're going to see a battle between the Lamborghini of Samuel Ratz and the Audi of Van der Velde. He was on the last lap about 4/10 faster than Samuel Ratz. He is within a second, and now he has the draft on Camel Straight. So he'll get inching lap by lap closer and closer. And I think also Darren King is losing some time for the guys on the back. He probably hit some traffic that made him go slower, but over the next course of a few laps, we're going to see even more battles coming up. In the game of checkers, on the back, and nothing is changing between Lorenk, Honzik, and Viel. They're still within 0.3 of a second of each other, and Kortum and Kabaka also are coming closer to them, and we're gonna have very soon as well a 5-car train.
Oh my goodness, just watching Stephen Wuss there, who was in the process of giving Killian Ryan Meaning all he could handle, and just absolutely slid out there in the hairpin at the top of the hill. Just incredible stuff. He saved it, but still a scary moment there. I've never seen a Porsche do that and not spin, so good for him for able to stay that. Stephen Wuss with incredible car control in his number 11 Porsche. It's just a Porsche fest here in the middle of the field. It's just, you got Killian Ryan Mean and Worst and Garland and Worst's brother, Stephen Worst, and his brother. Now that I've seen that all together, we have 2 sets of brothers in the race today. We've got the Ryan Meenan brothers and the Worst brothers in this race, and a lot of them are actually quite close to each other at this time, so pretty fantastic stuff.
It might be now. Christian Wheel has the insides. Will he do it? No, he won't.
He's just being incredibly tactful in the way he's doing it. He's giving him a look. He's thinking about it. He's not forcing the issue. And of course, there's still 37 minutes of this race to go, and everybody in the top 23 still has to make a pit stop. So there's no reason to really force yourself. Winds are still 5 kilometers, as you can see on your screen. They're coming out of the north currently. 9:33 a.m. Track still optimal, but you may notice that the track temperature has gone up several degrees. It was 14 C at the start. It's now 16 C. Ambient is still 14 though. Track's getting a bit warmer. Times, I don't know. They may be coming up in a major way here. If the track continues to get warmer, you will lose a bit of grip in that way.
And,
Harry Conway. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that, actually. Harry Conway's been given a drive-through penalty from the stewards. I did say the stewards were looking into an incident, and it was the incident on the final lap into the bus stop chicane. Harry Conway, the Aston Martin, the bright green Aston Martin, was judged to be the guilty party in that for taking out car 7 and causing a multi-car incident. He's been given a drive-through penalty, and he will have to serve that within the next 3 laps, but that's all the stewards have for now.
I've seen a car, an Aston Martin, I think, on Lecombe. It was out. Not sure which car was it. I'm trying to find out which car did have that spin. Either Aston Martin or a Bentley.
So the interesting thing about the penalty for the, what was it, the 24, is that correct?
28.
The 28. The interesting thing about that is I never could find the offending car. I only saw the 7 car spin out. But there you go. The stewards have made their first adjudication in the pro split today. Took a little bit longer than it normally would. They were dealing with some technical difficulties. The important thing is you get it right.
Oh,
and Christian
I tell you
Wheel
what,
going
I was
around
to
the
say,
outside.
Jesse, I think Christian Veal's going to make it this time, and he is going to have the inside line for Blanchimon. He's going to slide it up the inside. And very well done by Christian Veal. He waited laps and laps and laps until he got the perfect drive out of campus, and it's paid off big time.
As close as a barber's razor when he slotted back in line, but he gets the pass done, and persistence and patience pays off. Let that be a lesson to all you youngsters out there. That is exactly how you make a pass, and he gets the 6th place, and he's the one that's going to be able to challenge Lawrence now. And I wonder if maybe Wheel passing Lawrence will be the moment that the dam breaks and everybody can potentially charge on that Mercedes. I don't know, because he's done such a fabulous job of defending so far, but look at the gap Wheel has pulled out on Jardier now. That is an incredible amount of gap. Jardier now is falling into the clutches of Cordum, and that's the last thing I want to see if I'm in a Porsche. I don't want to see a big GTR in my mirror.
Now he's going to see a big GTR on his mirror, and he's going to see the back of the Porsche going probably further away in the way. He's probably now a little bit rattled because of this situation. Maybe he's going to compose himself within the next lap or so. But I'm not seeing that GTR and that Ferrari, but that for that matter, to leave them alone.
Jaroslav Honzik dropping down to 7th, now under pressure from Corton. Christian Veal clearing off, has a 1.1 second gap, and of course Christian Veal has now got the Mercedes of Martin Lawrence in his sights immediately. Jardier could not get past the Mercedes. Well, now it's Christian Veal's turn in the 911 Porsche to see if he can make his way past the Mercedes, and if he could potentially close down Zahir Essa as well. Plenty of time left in the race. We haven't even hit halfway, so we are just about to go 28 minutes into the race. A few people have already on pit stops, and they are well towards the back of the grid, but we'll see how that pays off later on once things start to even themselves out. But Jardier immediately under pressure into the bus stop chicane. Christian Veal putting Martin Lawrence under pressure as well, and I think this pack is going to be lively for a while longer, Jesse.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and the race cops have already...
Oh, he's going to do it.
Christian Wheel's going to do
now.
it. I think they're random.
Nice overtake.
I think that Lawrence let that happen.
Probably, but if I wasn't in Veal's position, I'm not sure if I would say he probably did it or not. I would just say to myself, this happens, now I have the 5th position, and I don't care. But Lorenk is now getting closer at Camel Straight. Veal getting into the inside. Lorenk got a better exit. Veal with the inside, Lorenk with the outside. Veal was able to keep it, and now Honzig getting closer. Everybody's
Mercedes.
getting closer. The Mercedes goes a bit sideways, and he still was able to keep it.
Oh my goodness, every time I think that Mercedes is going to lose it, he doesn't. And all this has done is brought this group very close together. And even Kavaka in 9th place is right there in his number 33 Ferrari, driving for the pride of Portugal. He is in this battle at this time. And if one little thing goes wrong, he could be as high as 6th or 5th place from 9th. That would be absolutely incredible. And as I was going to say before that hotted up there, the race cops have had another bust. It's going to be a 15-second penalty for the 333. Took out the 991, and that's going to be a 15-second penalty added on to their time. No drive-through in that case. Just being added on time penalty at the end of the race. Unfortunate. But you know what they say. You make mistakes, you learn from them, and you move on. And certainly, sometimes contact does happen. So thank you to our live stewardess, keeping things fair and safe out there. And again, thank all of you out there listening and watching today. Thank you for watching the RCI Racing Network in this excellent ICGT Pro Split race. This is round 2 today at Spa Francorchamps. And we would invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube, as Christian Veal has coming into pit road to serve his mandatory stop. He's gotten past the traffic and has decided this is the optimum time at halfway to come in, as so many others have as well. But, there's going to be a pass here. Think about it, Honzig thinking about making that pass finally on Lawrence. They're going to be side by side. If he can get the pass done, he doesn't have to worry about going through Rouge. Does he get it done? No, he does not. They're still side by side. They're going to go too wide up Rouge. Do they make contact? No, they do not. Oh, but it's a big slide. Big continuing slide from Lawrence sideways. He's going to lose 3 positions.
I've got to be honest, I don't know how Martin Lawrence did not lose the car there, but one of the big winners out of this is going to be Dominic Kortov, as he's not just gained on Martin Lawrence's mistake, but he's also right on the back of Jardia. But João Cavaca is also having a look at the Nissan at the moment. But my word, could we just highlight how Martin Lawrence slid that car twice over the top of Radion, but still didn't take anyone out?
Yeah, Lawrence actually tried to come back on Kavaka there. Kavaka said, I'm not having any of that, mate. I waited patiently for this spot. Kavaka from 9th to 7th place. Kortom from 7th to 5th. What is life anymore? I don't know, but this is fantastic battling. How in the world, just to echo Ryan's point, how did Martin Lawrence save that 171 Mercedes? I don't know. He was all out of shape. He did not crash or get anybody else involved. He saved it, and he's right back in it. But my goodness, he's driving that car loose.
An awesome Stuttgart drift from him, saving the car twice, but on the process of saving his car in his race, he was lost 2 positions. But it's much better to that happen than, crashing the car face forwards into the wall. But still, from this position, he can still fight against João Cavaca. He can try to overtake. His car has excellent top speed, and he might even pull it at Camel. Who knows?
Well, he's thinking about going around the outside. He is going to do that. There's going to be a little bit of contact between Kavaka and Lawrence, and that's going to make Lawrence lose even more positions. Kavaka has decided that this is the correct time to come down pit road, and all that has done is given the short end of the stick to Lawrence, who's going to lose a position here to Osi Takamaki, who we've not talked about at all today, really, but he's in one of those GTRs, and then Aussie Takamaki is going to be promoted to 7th, continuing the craziness. Anybody who is pitted at this point, you're a winner in my book, because you've avoided all this. Holy cow. the frustration that Lawrence must have right now. He has been absolutely manhandled by some of these guys, but he's going to fight back going to the outside. That will become the inside. They're going to be side by side. Drag race, V8 versus V6. Who's got it down the straightaway? I do not know. I assume it'll be the Mercedes, and is. They do go single file. OC is going to go to the inside, thinks better of it. Single file again. What is this race? This race at the halfway point has absolutely exploded. Everyone going for positions, tooth and nail. It's like a shark when there's blood in the water. Absolutely epic stuff.
Now there's two battles happening. Hansik with Kortrum in Loring with Aussie Takamaki. But it's going to be very interesting when everybody goes on the pits to see what is the pecking order of going out of the pits.
I don't know, but I'm going to take this moment to say what I've been trying to say for 6 minutes now. Thank you all for watching today's broadcast of RCI Racing. I hope that you've enjoyed that. We certainly are enjoying this. And if you don't mind, and why wouldn't you anyway, don't miss a single race. Don't miss action like this. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and hit like. It helps us gauge how well we are doing. And of course, we have a Twitch account as well. We're double casting today, also on Twitch. Go over there and just hit follow, RCI_racing on Twitch. You can find all that information there. And once again, thank you all for being with us and enjoying this race today. And hope that your driver that you're interested in, that you are here to support, is doing well. And if you're not here for any particular driver, we hope that you're enjoying the race. 25 minutes of it left to go. Battles everywhere. This not done here. Kortum still fighting Jardier for that position. That position is going to be 5th place. Cannot believe, Ryan, how stout that GTR is. Flashing the lights. I love it.
Yeah, the GTR's out in force. They're doing well today. Kortum in 6th place. Takamaki 8th. Foch in 9th. GTR's definitely showing their stuff today, and of course, Kortum he started off very well at Laguna Seca, had an incident, and of course that put him well down the order for a rather poor result in the first race, but would have probably easily had a top 5 if he'd managed to keep his car in good condition for the Laguna Seca race, so it's no surprise to see him this high up, though. And remember, Aussie Takamaki did pick up a podium in the first race of the season as well, so yeah, the GTRs, they're doing well today. They're liking these intercontinental tracks, and it is so great to see these cars up at the front because they are so very far and few between.
I've just decided the most scary thing on the planet is a bright pink GTR chasing me down at Spa, I think is what I've just decided. Kortum has painted his car in a very distinct fashion, and he'll be giving Jardier nightmares for sure, but that look back, that is intimidating. That is the most intimidating pink has ever been. That is a big gaping mouth on that GTR, and it looks mean. I absolutely love it. I understand why they haven't updated the BOP on the car, because it isn't used anymore. I also still, though, in hindsight, I appreciate the fact that that car can still come out here and compete with the rest of them. As looks like Stephen Wust is going to go a bit wide. He's going to lose a position there to his brother, actually, unless that was an orchestrated move. Could have been either. This just looked like he went wide to me, though. But pass made there, it would appear, unless that was Garland. No, I believe that was his brother indeed.
Car number 72 got, I think, a pit, either stop and go. He got a penalty, so Valentin Barrier. Let's check on the steward's box what was his impropriety.
I actually saw that. I actually saw that show up on the bottom of the screen earlier as we just see Dominic Kortum pull off into the pit lane. The 72 was given a drive-through for track limits by the server, so that's just taking a bit too much of the illegal areas on the track. So Valentin Barrier, who's in the 72 Aston Martin, he'll have to serve that drive-through fairly soon.
So just to clarify, that is not something our live stewards did. That was in the sim. The sim can give penalties as well. You're given a certain amount of off-track warnings before you are penalized with a drive-through penalty. And that's what happened there. He exhausted his warnings and was given a drive-through penalty. Harry Conway has just been disqualified for some reason that hasn't shown up in our penalty report. Would be interested to know why exactly that has happened or what has caused that. I'm sure
I
at
can
some
actually,
point we'll be able to...
I can actually tell you why, Jesse. Funny enough, the reason Harry Conway was disqualified because he failed to serve the drive-through penalty he was awarded within 3 laps. So he was auto-disqualified by the server, because of course when you get given a drive-through penalty you have 3 laps to serve it, and if you don't, the server will auto-disqualify you. So Harry Conway did not serve that drive-through penalty and as such has been disqualified by the server. So he will finish all the way down at the bottom, and of course a DSQ does mean that he will score no points this round.
That is incredibly unfortunate.
On the topic of a strategy for the race, Dominic Kortrum went to the pits, so that means Jaroslav has a little bit of breathing space, but he does need to make a decision very soon to when to go to the pits. Lorenk is actually inching towards him. He got within this lap, I think he got 0.3 of a second from Jaroslav. Not sure if he's going to take tires. It's very likely he's losing a lot of time. Definitely is over a second from his best lap, almost pushing the 2:20 mark. So he might need to make a decision very soon when to go to the pits and what to do on the pits.
Absolutely, as we continue to watch Varga and Zeman continuing our trend of GTRs today. Zeman had a few shots there, decided to bow out for reasons there. And you may have noticed that our second place driver here, Samuel Ratz, who by the way has been gaining on Darren King, has been given a penalty. It's looking like it's going to be a 5-second, or not, excuse me, he has been given a drive-through penalty. We also have a 5-second penalty for car 130 for contact with car 265. But Samuel Ratz has been given a drive-through. I wonder, Ryan, and I suspect that might be a track limits penalty given by the sim. Is that not correct?
It is correct. It was a drive-through penalty given by the sim. He's been cutting the top of Radeon just a bit too much, and of course he's done it one too many times. And that's a real shame for Samuel Ratz because he was running really well in second, closing down Darren King, and of course both of these guys were still yet to pit. So Samuel Ratz could have potentially gained a significant amount of time, maybe undercutting or overcutting Darren King, but of course that's not going to happen now. And Darren King is going to be feeling a lot more comfortable knowing that that second place car has a drive-through penalty.
And it's going to be very bad. Spa pits are the worst in terms of length. It's going to be almost a full minute.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Random. It's a double pit. Like, it's literally like going down 2 pit roads because it is, but that is not what he wanted to see. I've been theorizing that Darren King was saving a little bit of his car for a while, not to discredit Samuel Ratz's pace, but I kind of felt like maybe he was saving a little bit as Samuel here passing this back marker. We'll see if he comes in this time. But yeah, just slowly, methodically, and steadily, Ratz was gaining, and I didn't know if that was because King's pace in the Ferrari was diminishing, or if Ratz's pace was coming up, or maybe Darren King being a crafty driver, crafty racer, he knows to save a little bit. Samuel Ratz will come in and serve that drive-through right now. Unfortunately, he cannot complete his stop in this time, so he's going to have to come down pit road again for his actual stop.
Made a mistake over the chicane. Now Lorenk is up his exhaust.
Yes, indeed. Vanderveld back up to second now, but he's 6 seconds adrift of Darren King at this time. I wonder if Essa will be promoted to third. I suspect he might be in the time frame of that. As we keep going back to Stephen Worth's car, and I got to tell you, that is various shades of brown, right?
It is, it's to a particular taste, isn't it? Not particularly my taste. I have seen much more attractive Porsches, as I do see the unfortunate Samuel Ratz.
If you could change your cameras to Jaroslav and Lorenk is trying to overtake, there's a bit of side-by-side action, but Jaroslav was able to keep his position at Lecombe. Now Dalmamadi can Lorenk keep up with him? I think Jaroslav went a bit too wide there.
Holy moly, this is incredible stuff. And the battles, they never end, and they do continue here. Our timing and scoring here is a bit messed up because there is no Mercedes behind him. I think that might actually be a lapped car now that I take a closer look at it, because it tells me that Osi Takamaki is actually behind Jardier, but that is not the car that is behind him. So either timing and scoring hasn't updated because of the pit stops, which is incredibly possible.
I can actually tell you why that is, Jesse. Martin Lawrence was actually a fraction ahead of Jardier.
Oh, I see.
When they hit the second sector entrance. So it is... Martin Lawrence is behind Jardier, but that, of course, will update now, as it does.
There it is.
And, yeah, and that's the reason as to why it was showing Osi Takamaki is behind Jardier when it was actually Lawrence's, because Lawrence was technically reached the end of Sector 1 before Jardier had, but obviously Jardier had the inside line coming into Le Con.
Well, we're all getting what we want today. We wanted to see Jardier make passes, but Lawrence is not going to let this stand. He's going to go to the outside of him. Can he hold steady around him, around the outside? No, he cannot. He's going to have to fall back in line. Lawrence sets up for the long shot down the front straightaway. This is a V6 engine versus a V8. That Mercedes should have the grunt straightaway, not quite long enough. We're going to see exactly how much grunt he has when we go down the long straightaway, the Kimmel straight. We'll see if he can get right back alongside him. But as it stands, Jardier is up to 4th place, and that's exactly what we were all talking about at the start.
Slight correction for you there, Jesse, because I know that the Porsche fanboys will go absolutely mad. It's not a V6 in the Porsche, it is a flat 6.
That is correct, yeah.
Hence the whine that the car has that you can actually hear right now. But as we see Martin Lawrence close right up to the back of Jardier, they're going to come
on the inside now
to Le Combe. He's going to be on the inside. He's going to take
easy.
the position. And very well done there for
easy,
Martin Lawrence.
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, and Martin Lawrence gets the pass done, and we reset, and now Jardier, I assume he's loving this. Part of him's probably frustrated, but he's also probably loving this. This is a good fight, good clean battle, and it is strength versus strength, and I love that in GT racing. This is why I love Tin Top racing, because you get stuff like this.
I was about to comment before they were going for a new lap that either Jardier or Loreg should go for a pit stop, because they are losing so much time with each other that it would be more beneficial for both of them if they go for the pits, serve the pits, and reset their positions on track.
So, Ricardo, you're saying both of them should pit?
Yeah, but if I were in Honsik's position, I would pit first, and this is exactly the reason why. You lost the position, you lost about 2 to 3 seconds in 2 laps, so I think I would go to the pits even before this lap.
So here's an interesting thing I want to point out too while we're on the subject of pitting. Look at the number 19 Porsche of Muthen. Muthen was sort of just hanging out in the pack in this race. He pitted really early, and he's actually in front of the 695 of Cordom at this moment. So Muthen may be the guy who benefits the most out of pitting early.
And Hansik goes to the pits.
I think he was listening to you, Ricardo.
Great minds think alike, I guess.
There you go. He comes into pit road. Jardier has had enough of that and will pit. He'll be the furthest car up the grid to pit so far. Darren King enjoys a 7.6 second lead on Vandervelde, and Essa is adrift some 4 seconds of Vandervelde. So we go to Dustin Wust. Dustin Wust, the brother, of course, of Steven Wust, and they are nose to tail. Do you think they enjoy racing each other more than anybody else? I think they might, right? Because sibling rivalry and all that.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the Ryan Meanham brothers do get pretty they get pretty feisty with each other. I've seen what it's like when those two come to blows on track, and as much as they do get on very well with each other, they do love that rivalry. And of course they're not here tonight, but or they're not in this championship rather, but the Strello brothers as well, they love having a good scrap, and they love racing with each other in endurance races as well. So I'm not too sure, but right now it's actually Garland that Wust is chasing down. because his brother Stephen has actually gone into the pit lane. He's still in the pit lane at the moment, served his mandatory stop just a moment ago. And as we look now, it is just the top 9 remaining that have to serve their stop. Janssen, who is outside of the top 9, is in the process of serving his mandatory pit stop. But the top 10, as it stands right now, Darren King, Tinker van der Velde, Zahir Esser, Martin Lawrence, Ossie Takamaki, Anthony Fock, Alan Garland, Dustin Vust, Bart Matcha, and Jaroslav Honzik. But of course, all these places provisional right now.
So guys, here's some distressing news I've received from the chat. Allegedly, Jardier has received his final track limits warning, and he's going to have to race these final 12 minutes on eggshells and not break any track limits. Otherwise, he will be given a penalty as well. So if that information is correct, then again, that further deepens the plot of that driver and all those racing against him. So, my goodness, what an event this has been. 11 minutes to go is absolutely flown by as Ossie Takamaki has brought his car down to pit road. That will mean there will only be 8 drivers out front who have not pitted. Oh, man.
And in front of Ossie, you have Martin Loring posting his best lap of the race at 2:18.64. This at 10 minutes to go. So his tires are still in very good position, in very well treated, even though he drifted a few of these corners quite dramatically.
And I don't mean to cut in here, but look at this. Dominic Kortum and Jaroslav Honzik, they may have both pitted, but there is still nothing between them. Dominic Kortum still behind the likes of Jardier, but he's still very much right on the back of him at the moment. But look at someone who has definitely gained places in amongst all the pit stops, and that is Michael Muthen, who has moved himself up into 10th place, and of course he will still move up, will move up even further once some other people in front pit. So he's actually done an incredibly good job. Must have pitted very early on in the race, and he's managed to find himself some clean air, and he's reaping the benefits of that right now.
Yeah, Muthen pitted on one of the opening laps, Ryan. He was the first to come in. I happened to notice that, and I thought that was an interesting strategy. I think he did a similar
and Ossie Takamaki on Camel Straight in front of Jaroslav. And
oh my goodness.
Oh my God!
It's going to be side by side with. Oh my goodness! Kortum is giving Jardier everything he can. There's going to be a bit of a touch there as Jardier will maintain that position. No, maybe he won't. As they're side by side, they touch again as they go down into the hairpin. They're still going to be side by side. Can the Porsche get him in the hairpin? I don't know. He will do, but just barely. A big lunge by Kortum. That almost was everything that Jardier could handle. And after a few bumps, a few rubs, they are still nose to tail. And like Ryan said, there's nothing between them, or as we say in America, just a little bit of sheet metal between them is all that separates them. This battle has persisted for a very long time, about 30 to 40 minutes at this time, and I don't think that this will be settled until the final buzzer as he takes a lunge down into the inside, does Kortum. Kortum doesn't get exactly all of it in there, and they all reset again. And I think Kortum just says, I'll see you next lap, Jardier. We'll do that again.
This is exactly what I was talking about, that Jardier should have gone to his pit stop at least a lap earlier. You lost a lot of time with the battles with the Mercedes, more than 1 second per lap, and now he is suffering the consequences. You lost the position to Ossie Takamaki and also Muthen, and we see Kortum battling again with him, and Kavaka is coming closer and closer, and also Macaulay is also in the fight.
Yeah, Joe Macaulay, who was down in about 30th place after the first lap, he's managed to claw his way up to 14th place. Incredibly well done by him. Christian Veal is one of the biggest losers in all of this. Remember, he was all the way up in 6th. He's now down in 17th position. right
And
now.
sorry for
behind
interrupting.
Sunstrom.
Martin Lorenk is now coming out of the pits. He's on the Camel Straight, trying to go as fast as he can. Can he keep in front of Ossi Takamaki? Ossi Takamaki has all of the momentum, but he's going to keep in front of Jaroslav once again. So there's a shuffle in positions, very tactical. Ossi did very well going just a little bit earlier, I believe 2 or 3 laps earlier than Jaroslav and Martin. And because of that battle that I was talking about, he's going to be half a second in front, just enough to be in front of all of these trains of cars.
I cannot believe, Random, how well Muthen and Takamaki have done with their pit stops. I expected there to be some shuffling. This is major shuffling. Muthen, the big winner here, comes out of nowhere and is going to be rewarded with an incredible top spot at some point. I reckon he could be as high as 3rd or 4th at the end of this based on his pit strategy, and Takamaki as well, jumping people in pit road, knowing when to pit, knowing how to get it done. Excellent stuff. We go back to the Jardier fight that will not die. Jardier still fighting Cordum here for the what is effectively going to be a top 5 position, I would imagine, at some point, but all they're doing fighting each other is dragging each other back. And look who is behind them in the number 33 Ferrari. That is Cavaca. That is the Portuguese driver. He has a shot here if they continue to battle like this, but he's also in a battle with Macaulay, who Ryan mentioned earlier, who also came out of nowhere.
Garland, Dustin, and Bart Matjev are now on the pits, so there is going to be also a shuffle there. Bart is coming out of the pits now, but he still needs to go around. He's going to miss a few positions, but I'm not sure where he's going to finish. Alan Garland is now getting to the Camel Straight. He's going past the line. Now we can throttle up. There's a train of cars. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's still before Eau Rouge. He's going to lose quite a few positions. I stand corrected there. But so that means that all of these guys are going to get 3 positions because of these 3 pit stops.
Yes, this is the point of the race where we all lose our minds and we don't know exactly what's happening, and we sit around 30 minutes after the race trying to draw charts. But look in the mirror, it's Cavaca on Cordum. Cordum has been enamored with Jardier, but that does not matter because Cavaca is right there in the middle of it, and he's going to try and get this done.
Going to be forced onto the outside line, and he's going to have to go wide as well. Be careful not to pick up a track limit warning there. The Nissan will maintain itself, and Joe Macaulay having a look up the inside of the Ferrari but not finding the room either. These guys have got to be careful for track limits, especially Jardier, who knows he's on his last warning. Jardier cannot afford to take any more liberties with the track limit. And look at that, Michael Muthen now up to 5th place because of all this moving about in the pit stops. Takamaki in 6th, and most importantly to look at all this, Jaroslav Homzik, the championship leader, is currently 8th.
Yep, it's going to be a big reshuffling, not only because of pit stops, but in the standings of this race in general as well. It's absolutely insane, and I want Cavaca to make a pass on one of these guys because I want to hear Random Call Sign call it in Portuguese.
I hope to call it in Portuguese as well, but I think he's going to lose the position to Macaulay. Macaulay now has the outside for Blanchemont. Cavaca is still able to keep it, but on the breaking point to the chicane, everything is where it's going to matter. But Cavaca seems, yeah, he has a good speed out of Blanchemont. No moving still, I think. Very close, all the 4 cars. Quartrum in front, almost touching Jaroslav rear bumper. And now they separate themselves just a little bit of a breather. They are all doing 221s. That's because of the battle they have been doing. Quite exciting.
Yeah, it is, and I've just noticed something. I saw a Honda in the background. I'm like, there's a Honda in this race, and I remember there is a lone Honda in the Pro Split, and that's Frochel's car, and he is in this battle as well now because all of these guys are holding each other up. So all the way back from 8th place, all the way back to 12th, are in basically the same line. And I hadn't seen that Honda all day, the number 86, and there it is. And look at this. Cordham is going to get the big toe out of the Kimmel straight, and he's going to possibly get the pass done here side by side. Can he get it done here? He's going to have the preferred line. No, he's not. Jardier is going to hold him very close to the apex, and they're still going to be side by side. Oh, it's going to be a big move, a big bump, and Cordham is going to slam into the wall hard. And then 695 has had a massive off there. Contact between Jardier and Cordham has sent Cordham hard into the wall, and that's going to be a trip to the infield care center, I suppose.
Jardier, I think he assumes that he didn't do it on purpose, but it was his fault. He waits for Courtroom, but Courtroom can't do anything, as he's going to have the car destroyed. Even if he doesn't have any direction issues, he's going to have aero, which will cost him for the rest of the race. Fortunately, it's only 2 laps, but it's still enough to lose maybe 4 or 5 positions.
Just a quick notice as well, Darren King, Tinker van der Velde and Anthony Foch all come in to serve their pit stop on the final lap of the race, by the way.
Of course they did.
So you can see Darren King making his way down towards the end of the pit lane right now. Tinker van der Velde doing exactly the same. Zahir Essa went in a lap earlier. He's coming through the final chicane right now, but we are effectively on the final lap of the race.
Is Anthony Fock going to get the 3rd position? Zahir, I know, is now on the pit lane area. It's going to be quite interesting. I think Essa is going to keep the 3rd position, and Fock is going to drop 1. We also see Michael going around in Ossi Takamaaki. Anthony Fock is still doing that slow crawl into the line so he can go to Camel straight. Quite frustrating. He done an excellent race, but he's going to see 3rd, 4th, and possibly even 5th position lost. In even 6th, Laurent is just up ahead. Oh, he can't do anything. He's going to keep a 7th position with João Cavaca just behind him. And João, having an excellent race, is now on 8th position. What an excellent take from the Portuguese.
Oh, I think I have bad news, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's going to be an extra lap on this race. Maybe. I don't know if Darren King made it to the line in time. He was right at the line.
No, he wasn't. His sorry to cut in, Jesse. His lap time delta is incorrect because of his
pit. Yep, exactly.
So
this is the final lap.
It is the final lap. Darren King is going to come out of campus and make his way back up towards the line. We'll quickly have a switch back to see João Cavaca and Joe McCauley currently going at it. This is a battle for 8th place at the moment. And of course, Lawrence has got Anthony Fock behind him. In fact, no, Lawrence is pressuring Takamaki rather. But Joe McCauley looking to maybe get past Cavaca. Can't quite find a way through, but it is going to be Darren King who comes into the bus stop chicane for the final time. He is going to cross the line. He will be the winner here at round 2 of the Pro Split for the ICGT Sprint Championship. Darren King in the 38 Ferrari. Tinko van der Velde in 2nd place. Zahir Essa will round them out in 3rd. But as we switch back to the battle now for 8th place, Joe McCauley, this is going to be it. This is going to be a last-ditch attempt.
He's going to go for it. He's going to have to go for it here. If he's going to do it, he has to do it now. He doesn't take a lunge. He's going to try and beat him out of the corner. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And I think João Cavaca is going to be able to take the 8th position in his black 33 Ferrari.
Great race from João Cavaca. Was able to keep it. He inched. He didn't have a brilliant race. He had a tactical one. He was able to overtake people over impatient when he couldn't do it in just speed. So excellent race from him.
And I don't mean to cut in, but look at this for sportsmanship
that was
from
incredible.
Jaroslav Honzik to wait for Kortum at the line to let him through to say, look, it was my bad. I didn't mean it. You can have it back. Jardier slips down to 17th.
Yep.
But he's earned the respect, I think, of all of us here today, for sure.
Look,
I mean, he had it already, but incredible show of sportsmanship there to just put his hands up and wait at the line to say, look, I didn't deserve that.
Look, folks, when you look up sportsmanship, you're going to see this clip, okay? That's what it is. Jardier and they had a bit of an incident on track, okay? Jardier and Cordham. Jardier accepted responsibility because he forced him off. And not only did he let him back through on the road, he let him back through at the end of the race. Folks, this is the man that came in as the championship leader. He was the one that had the most to lose. And to show that level of sportsmanship and respect to your competitors, that's what you like to see. You don't see it often, but that's exactly what you like to see. My hat's off to him, and I hope that Cordham understands that it was a racing incident. It was unfortunate that that happened, and hopefully that olive branch is well received. Today, Darren King, your winner, was not without challenge, however. Lost the lead to Vander Velde immediately off the start, got it back. One of the few times you ever see a pass before they make it to turn one, and one of the few times you see two passes before they make it to turn two. But in fact, that did happen today. Darren King then set sail by several seconds and sort of managed the pace, I would argue. It's going to be Vander Velde second and Essa third, so congratulations to them, and we cannot overlook the great job that Muthen and Takamaki did to finish fourth and fifth. Fantastic day. Final thoughts, Ryan Gill.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic race, and of course, thank you very much to Jesse and Random Callsign for joining me here tonight in the box for the second round of the ICGT Pro split. And of course, we had the AMs on Twitch as well. The VOD for that will be uploaded on Monday. And of course, next Friday, we have the Silvers right here on RCI TV and the Rookies over on RCI_Racing Twitch. But of course, if you're looking for some more racing, well, do not fret. We have something coming up for you tomorrow, in fact. It's going to be the GT4 race at Bathurst. That's going to be incredibly exciting. I myself am going to be racing in that, so I'll be hoping to do very well in the Camaro fan club. Besides that, on Monday is the start of our GT4 Championship. Yes, that's right. We're starting real quick indeed. The GT4 Championship goes live on Monday. Of course, we have the build-up to our 6-hour as well next weekend. We have the qualifying and Super Pole race on August the 1st. And we might have a very special guest to announce by the time qualifying comes around as well. We do also have a multi-class championship starting towards the end of the month. A Rex Cup race next Thursday as well. And of course, a Wednesday SGP race and championship starting very, very soon. So much stuff going on here at RCI. And
folks,
it is
what
my,
he's
my
saying
pleasure.
is like and subscribe and come here every day for racing content is what Ryan Gill is telling you right now, and I could not agree more. Thank you guys for joining us, though, as well. Like and subscribe. Join us. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And, of course, you know, massive thanks from us today. Massive thanks to the stewarding team for all the hard work that they've put in today. And, of course, massive thanks to all the drivers for showing up and putting on a magnificent show, as they always seem to do. They never disappoint. And, of course, we will be back with the Pro Split in 2 weeks' time at Kyalami.